Welcome to Hey Therapist. I'm your host, Leslie Ross. With me is my producer, Jay Wesley Lindley. Let's get mental. All right. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to Hey Therapist. This is also our first episode that we are recording with video. So I don't know if you'll get to see that or not. We'll see how it turns out. But there is video somewhere. Maybe that'll go onto our Patreon or something someday. But I'm going to try not to rock too much in the chair because I have a hard time sitting still. I'm going to try to be still, and we'll see how this turns out. But today, we just got through our series on attachment and all the ways that people attach and where that comes from and how to work through it. So today we're going to kind of continue down this series of relationship things and how we act in a relationship and what we need. And we're going to do all the positive things first. We're doing attachment. Today we're going to do the love languages, and then we're going to get into some of the more damaging things that can cause ill will in a relationship. But today we're going to talk about, like I said, the 5 love languages. The 5 love languages were developed by Dr. Gary Chapman. And if you've never heard of them, I don't know where you've been living because they've been around for a very, very long time. This man has made his career on couples and relationships, and he has some very sound principles that have come out of all of this research. And part of that is the 5 love languages. So if you're not real familiar with what those are, in general, they are words of affirmation, quality time, acts of service, receiving gifts, and physical touch. And while most people dive into their love language and they learn their love language and they want everyone to operate out of their love language to show them love, what they really kind of miss out of the Chapman books, and it's right there in the beginning before you get into the love languages, is the reason you learn about your partner's love languages and your own love language is so you can show love to the people you care about in the right way. Because it's really not about you and how you receive love. It's really about how you can be more purposeful in taking care of the people around you. What we're going to do is talk about the love languages and, get into what they look like, what they mean, how that feels to people. I have taken the love language quiz a few times. I have all the books. Obviously, it's part of my therapy stuff that I use with clients, but also for my own curiosity. And I was pretty sure I knew what I was. And I can say my love languages have changed over the years, which I think they do. It's always good to look and see what your love language is currently in your current situation. Because as you change and as you develop better coping mechanisms, as you kind of get a little more chill in life, your love language may change a little bit because things that seemed meaningful just aren't. In preparation, I redid my quiz, and I'm still big physical touch. Like, my number one is physical touch. It just is. Anyone that's ever dated me knows that. Like, I am a physical touch person. I just want to touch you. Just let me touch you. Like, let me just put my hand on you, hold my hand, do whatever. And then mine's a little odd because then acts of service, quality time, and gifts are all almost exactly the same levels. Like, they come out almost straight across as the next section. They're like tied for that second level. So it's kind of weird. I'm kind of all over the place, I guess. For me, words of affirmation is like barely even shows up. I don't care. You don't have to tell me what you care. Like, I don't want to hear your praise. I don't want to hear, of course, I want you to tell me you love me and that you care about me and all of those things. But I don't need you to tell me I'm doing a good job. Like, that's not meaningful to me. Let's talk about what some of these look like. So the first one we're going to talk about is words of affirmation. And people who speak this love language, they feel great when a partner tells them how much they are loved and appreciated and valued. And using words of affirmation can be very powerful for someone that is their language, because it really shows them that you care about them, that they're being appreciated. They enjoy those compliments and they enjoy that encouragement. Some examples of words of affirmation may be simply, I love you. You're the best. Like, I really appreciate what you're doing. I'm so proud of you. You're awesome at XYZ. You're a great parent. You're a great mom. You're a great friend. You're my best friend. Thank you for taking care of XYZ. And it may be some things that is their job to take care of. Maybe they pay the bills all of the time and that's just what they do. And in your relationship, that's fine. That's an agreement. But thank them for that. You know what? Because there's a reason you're not doing it. You probably hate paying bills, or you hate cleaning the bathtub, or you hate these other things. So your partner says, okay, well, I'll do that if you do this. But if you can say thank you for that, that can be really meaningful. And, those are a lot of just generic examples. You want to make it attuned to your individual, to their personality. If you know that they're a words of affirmation person, making it a point to thank them, to appreciate them, really goes a long ways, because that's how they feel love, right? So we're talking about these love languages, are how we feel love and how we want to be loved. So be specific. Maybe they just want to hear you tell them that you love them all the time. Like, that may be their thing. But if not, I love you because. Add in that language. It makes it more meaningful. Make sure it is from the heart, and don't wait until they do something spectacular to give them those words of affirmation. Maybe they work their ass off all the time at their job, and you know that, and they love their job and they work really, really hard, and they get a promotion, and you wait until they get that promotion to tell them you're proud of them. Now, I'm not saying don't tell them that you're proud of them because they got the award, right? We always want to encourage and tell people we're proud of them. But if they are a words of affirmation person, then just saying, you know what? I really appreciate the fact you work so hard at your job. I see that you care about your job, and that is a really great quality that I can enjoy. And so we want to thank them for those little things that, like I said, they may be doing anyway. So our next topic, or the next love language, is going to be quality time. And people who speak this language find love spending time with you. It's exactly what it sounds like. Quality time. Go on a date. And going on a date is a classic example of how to spend time with someone and how to have that quality time. And a date can be anything. It's not necessarily going out to the movies. We're going to the lake today, and we're leaving our phones in the car, and we're going to take a little picnic, and we're going to spend the day together. Or I know that you really wanted to see this movie. I know you really want to go to this restaurant, and we're going to go on a date. It could be a walk or a hike. Just anything can be a date, as long as it's meaningful. Regular dates are a very important part of any relationship, even if they're not a quality time person. You need to be spending time with your partner in some meaningful way. And it could be very short amount of times. It could be we put the kids down, we go to bed, we have this 30 minutes, we watch the show that we watch together at this time, and our phones are down and we're just hanging out, we're chit-chatting, whatever it is. Or you both came home from work and you had a really rough day, but you always eat dinner together. So you may go to play video games after that, and someone may go read a book or watch TV or whatever it is, but you sit down and eat together, and that's your habit. And that's really important for someone who really enjoys quality time. Now, I say all of that about date planning and all of those things to say, if your partner is a quality time person and they have asked for dates, this is something you guys agreed to do. Do not make one partner plan all of the dates. It's not fair. Spread that out, because it gets really exhausting. If you're going on a date, it should be enjoyable for both of you. And maybe one of you had a really rough week. Well, the other partner maybe anticipate that and plan that date for them. Or ask, hey, I know it's date week or Friday night's date night. Do you want me to help plan it? Because I know you're super busy or you've been stressed out because of all of these things that are going on. Maybe you haven't had time to plan. Can I plan that for you? And that's not only quality time that you're getting, it's also acts of service. Like, so maybe they're an acts of service person, and that just really took a load off them and made them feel really, really appreciated. Cooking together is a great way to spend time with your partner. The important thing is, you want to be spending time together. Now, one of you may want to cook. I dated a guy who loved to cook, but he did not want help. Stay out of my way, stay out of the kitchen. But hang out, like, I want to talk to you. Let's listen to music, but I don't even want you watching me cook. but hang out over there and let's talk and let's have the thing. So it was a weird sort of quality time, but it was our quality time. We had music on, we chit chatted, he cooked. I helped clean up, because he had cooked. It was just one of those little things that we spent time together doing. Talking is also quality time. You may say, I talk to my partner all the time. You may talk at your partner and you may talk with your partner, but sometimes sitting down and talking about those more serious things, those things you don't normally talk about, hopes, dreams, 5-year plans, annoyances. There's a lot of relationship games and cards and worksheets that you can find out there for free on the internet, or you can order little card sets or whatever. And that can be a really great time to spend quality time with your partner, asking these questions, learning things you may not know. You could be with someone for a very long time and still find out things that you don't know about them. If it's date night too, get one of the little spicy card decks and maybe make it a little more fun to learn things about your partner. There's ways you can do that. The best way to spend quality time together, though, is to find something that you both enjoy, because this is going to build your bond on that deeper level. It also is important when you're spending time together to spend the quality time together. Put the phone down, turn the TV off, put down whatever you're reading. There's ways to be together where you're not actually together. And that could be fine. Maybe that's what you want. Maybe you're both tired, but you want to spend time together. So you're both on the couch together, playing on your phones, watching TV, not actually talking. That can be quality time, sure. But if the quality time is we're going to watch this movie together, we're going to, play this game, or we're going to talk about these things, and one of you is on your phone, that's just not quality time. And for your quality time partner, it's actually really disrespectful. So whatever quality time you are having with your partner, you want to be present, show up, be engaged. Quality time can be a tricky one if your partner is a quality time and you're rebuilding. Maybe there's been some relationship issues. Maybe you've drifted apart and this is something that you're trying to do to rebuild your relationship. It can be tricky because you may get on each other's nerves, or it can feel really awkward if you're with someone that, again, maybe you've been with them a long time. Y'all don't talk anymore and you sit down and say, we're going to talk tonight. And it's just like crickets, which is where those worksheets, those games, those card games, even just playing a board game, putting together a puzzle, something like that can break the ice. It distracts you enough from maybe the awkwardness so that you can spend that quality time together and rebuild that relationship. So the next love language we're going to talk about is acts of service. Like I said, I'm right under physical touch for me is acts of service. This is anything from giving a massage to taking out the trash. It really is. So when we're talking about those acts of service, some simple things to do could be cooking dinner or picking up dinner if your partner is usually the one that takes care of that. If you are going to cook for your partner and you are going to, even if you're picking up food, if it is an act of service, you are also cleaning up. You're not going to do the things and make the food and make the mess and then leave it for your partner to clean up and go, but I cooked for you. Because they're sitting there watching you cook going, oh my God, I'm going to have to clean all this up. Another pot? You're getting out another pot? Why? Why are you using another knife? What is happening here? So your acts of service person is now stressed out because they're seeing all of this work you're creating for them. Running someone's errands for them. If you know they did a Walmart order pickup, or there's a few things they've said, well, I need to go grab this, but I got to do all of these things. Go pick it up for them. Say, hey, I'm going to pick this up for you. I'm going to go get the dry cleaning. I'm going to go put gas in your car because I know you forgot to put gas in your car and you have to drive somewhere in the morning. And I know you tend to run a little behind. So I'm going to go put some gas in your. Speaking that and doing those things for them, it seems easy for you, but it means so much for that person that you're doing those acts of service for. Clean the house for them. If they have a chore that they hate, do that one for them. Run their bath water. If you know that your partner is a bath taker every night, or even get their shower stuff ready, whatever it is, or do whatever they need to do so that they can go do those things and have that relaxation. It's really pretty easy for someone who is an acts of service person to relate to your acts of service person, it's really pretty simple stuff. It's throwing out the things, it's taking out the garbage, it's doing the chore, it's picking the little things up, taking your own stuff to the kitchen, or picking up your clothes or putting them in the laundry hamper. Little things for your acts of service person can mean a whole lot, because for them, you taking that load off means you care. It means you looked at their life and you looked at what they had going on and you said, what can I do to help? When we're talking about what you can do to help, don't screw things up intentionally. And we'll get to that in another episode. But there is, this weaponized helplessness, weaponized incompetence that we get from someone. And so if you're with an acts of service person and you see they're overwhelmed, you see they're stressed, they're trying to get this done and food put up and all of the things, and you say, what can I do to help? They're probably going to say nothing. Just get out of my way. Because if you have used some of this helplessness or incompetent stuff before, going, well, I don't know where that goes. I don't know where to put it. Where do you keep this? You've lived here too. And even if you don't live there, you've probably visited enough to know where the cups go in the cabinet. You know where the silverware gets put back up. You know how to load a dishwasher. Well, I don't know how you like it done. Just load the fucking dishwasher, bro. It may not be how I want it done, but the fact they're in the dishwasher is going to make me happy. But if I have to tell you, well, I need you to do this, that, or the other, and we've probably already had this conversation, so now I'm annoyed that I'm telling you again, and you're like, well, I want to help you. What can I do? And I say, okay, take that and do this with it. Whatever it is. And you're like, well, I don't know where that goes. Well, how do you want me to do it? Where do you want me to put? No, just never mind. I'll do it myself, which can lead to some resentment and contempt. So we want to work to not lead to some of these four horsemen. We want to work within that love language. So do not use that weaponized incompetence. If you genuinely don't know, you say, hey, listen, I know you have a lot on your plate and I really don't know what you do all day, because most of the time we don't know what our partners do on a day-to-day basis. We kind of know. We know where they are. We know they go to work. We know they come home, but you don't know exactly what they do. You don't know that they're doing this extra load of laundry every time. You just know you have clean towels. You don't know that they're taking out the trash or mowing the yard when they are mowing part of the yard or doing the weed eating, because you don't really pay attention to that stuff. You don't know what they're doing. You can say, listen, I genuinely want to help you out, but I don't know what you need from me. And if they say, well, I need you to go pick this up. Okay, is there a specific brand you want? Is there you can ask those questions to make sure you're getting what they want. And if it's genuine, they're going to recognize that. They're not going to be annoyed with you trying to slink out of doing something for them. It's okay. They genuinely want to know. It's, hey, I got to run to the store and pick this up. Well, send me a picture of what you need and I will go by and get it. Done. It's that easy. And your acts of service person is going to be super appreciative because they didn't have to go into a lot of detail. It didn't create more work for them, and you're helping them out. So you're going to get that for them. So it really is important to utilize that and be consistent with it. If you know that your acts of service person really appreciate you taking out the trash, because as an acts of service person, if someone just takes my trash, listen, we good. I don't even care if you take it to the car. Just take it out of my house. Just get it into the dumpster. That means so much to me because you saw something that you knew I was going to have to do and you did it for me. And that is just really makes me appreciate people so much more. And it's really a way to show that you love someone without having to just use those words all the time and to say it, because maybe you're not a word person and you know your partner is an acts of service. If you just do the things, they're going to appreciate you. Next love language we're going to discuss is receiving gifts. People who speak this language like to receive little tokens of love. And it doesn't have to be big. It's just these little things. Flowers are kind of a generic gift for a man to bring home for their lady, or a lady to bring home for the lady, or a man to bring home to his man. Maybe they just really like fresh flowers. You don't have to go spend a fortune on them. I don't know if you know this, but Walmart has great flowers and they're cheap and they last forever. And if you're running by somewhere and you have to pop into Walmart to pick something up, grab your partner some flowers. They're not going to care. And if they do, that's a whole other issue. If they're concerned that the flowers came from Walmart and not somewhere else, you have bigger issues you probably need to deal with. But for the most part, they're going to be like, oh, you brought me flowers. That's so sweet. Even if they're the one that has to cut them and put them in the vase and do all the things, they're going to be okay with that because you thought of them and brought them flowers. Personalized gifts are always great. right? And that can be anything from something that you had engraved and spent a lot of time on, or a picture that they really enjoyed of themselves or their family or you guys that you printed out and put into a frame, or even just printed out and stuck on the fridge. That's going to mean a lot that you did that for them. There's all kinds of personalized jewelry. You can write them a poem. I had someone write me a rap. It's the coolest shit ever. It's one of the best things I have ever received in my life, because I'm pretty simple. Like, I don't need a lot of things. I can buy my own things. I have way too many things. But he wrote me a rap because I mentioned that there's not many songs that have my name in it. There's only like 2 songs out there that I've ever found that have my name in it. And so he wrote me a rap with my name in it. I still listen to it. I still have it. It's so cool. And it was easy for him because that's what he did. He made music. He did the things. He was super creative. I don't think it probably took him 5 minutes to do. And it is still so meaningful that I have that. It's just really cool. It can be those little simple things that are gifts that people enjoy. You know, if you know that your person loves to travel, but they hate planning. I have a friend that I know that her husband every 2 years plans a trip, a big trip. This year they went to Egypt. He plans a big, huge trip and surprises her with it. He tells her what type of environment to pack for, vaguely what experiences they may be having, and he plans this whole trip for her every 2 years. And she loves it. Like, she looks forward to it. She knows it's coming, and she doesn't have to do anything. She doesn't have to plan. She doesn't have to worry about documents. She doesn't have to do all of the stuff. And I mean, that's a pretty big gift to give someone, right? I mean, that's a pretty big one, but it means so much to her. And now it's become their tradition. And it's just a really great experience that they have that is so loving filled for her. And, you know, it just makes her happy. And you don't have to go that big. Maybe it's a concert. Maybe it's a movie coming out that they want to go see and you buy tickets for the first night. You know, it can be really, really simple. Like I said, a poem, you write them a letter, you draw them a picture. It can be silly, it can be little, but it's going to mean a lot to your gift language person. And it can be as simple as if you stop and get gas at the grocery store, at the gas station or the grocery store, you run in to pick something up and you bring them home their favorite little snack, they're going to appreciate that because you thought of them. And that's what the gift is about, or should be about, is the fact that you saw something you thought they would enjoy, or you know that they had a rough day and they really enjoy this certain drink from somewhere, or whatever it is, and you picked that up for them. That's meaningful because it shows them that you're thinking of them. It shows them that you love them and what they want and need is important. And you don't even have to say a word. You can just walk in and like lay their little candy bar down on the table and they're going to be so happy to have it. They're going to be so excited. So it really is pretty simple. Gifts, the main thing about gift giving is be thoughtful. Don't pick up something random. Don't go and just say, well, I'll just grab this, bring home a Snicker. Well, I thought about bringing them a candy bar. Okay, cool. And you bring home a Snickers and you didn't think about the fact your person was allergic to peanuts. They're going to be like, oh, okay, you don't know me at all then. Not only is this not my favorite candy, I'm also allergic. What are you doing? It's really important to be thoughtful about the gifts you're giving. Be thoughtful about what you're bringing to them. And when you have that thought in it, they're going to appreciate it. Let me add on gift giving. A gift that involves cleaning, fitness, looking better in any way, unless specifically asked for a specific event, you do not bring that home and say, I've got you something special. Let's say your vacuum's going out and your person says, God, the vacuum's dying. I need to get a new vacuum. There's this one that I kind of like. Because, I mean, you have those conversations. Man, there's this one I kind of like. It does this, that, and the other. And if you're really kind of that gift buyer, you can be like, oh, yeah, what brand is that? What does it look? Show me what it looks like. I've never seen one of those. You can play dumb. They can show you a picture. Then those things just kind of appear in households. If they need that new vacuum, they want that new vacuum, it appears. You don't say, I got you this present so you can vacuum more efficiently. Like, no, It can be there, and they can be, oh my God, you got me the new vacuum. Thank you so much. But if you're like, for your birthday, I got you this vacuum, they better have asked. They better have said, listen, for my birthday, because I know it's expensive, because there's some out there that are super expensive. I got a vacuum as a gift once. I was very clear that I wanted that vacuum as the gift because it was expensive. This is the one I want. Here's the Amazon link. Here's the best price I can find on it. This is what I want for my birthday. I promise there's no strings to this. You're not going to get in trouble. This is not a trap. This is what I want because it's expensive. If you've had that conversation about one of those gifts, that's fine. But if they mention, oh, I have been putting on weight, I should really get a treadmill for the house, and you buy them a treadmill and say, hey, I got you a treadmill, I promise you, you are not going to get the reaction that you want from your partner. Be mindful about the gift giving. Make sure it's something that they truly want, and there's been a conversation about how it's okay to buy that gift. And our last love language that we are going to talk about is physical touch. So people with physical touch love language, it is about the act of touching you. It's not necessarily, and rarely is it, actually about sex. Make that real clear right off the bat. Because when people hear physical touch, they automatically think sex. It's not about sex. Sex is important to physical touch people, but it's not about the sex. They want that contact. They want those hugs. Hugging is such a great way. Just a big old hug can make your physical touch person feel so good. Kisses, even little pecks. I mean, passionate kisses are great. Don't get me wrong. And they're fine in passing. But if you're going to give your physical touch person a passionate kiss, do not expect sex. And this is going to be the disclaimer about just about everything we talk about today. Massages, don't expect sex. Kisses, don't expect sex. Groping, don't expect sex. Do not expect sex from your physical touch person just because you know that they want to be touched. Very different things. Holding hands is a great way to have that contact while you're sitting down, while you're out, while you're on the couch, whatever. You can hold someone's hand. You can have a little pat on their leg. You can just be close to them. Just let them be touching you. And it makes them super happy. It does for me. Trust me. Like if you're in my vicinity and I can just like reach over and touch you for a minute and then I'm good. You reach over and pat me, it makes me even happier. It's just those little touches. Massages are great. If you know that your person loves to have their feet rubbed, rub their feet. It may not be your thing. You may get nothing out of it, but they are getting filled with love while you're doing that. It is really just about that closeness and touching. Most physical touch people, if that is their love language, they are more than happy to be your pillow. Just lay on me. It's fine. Just put your legs on me, lay down. I'll be your pillow because you're touching me. And that makes me happy because then I can pet you and I can pat you and you're right there. And it's a physical touch thing. It just makes you happy. It's important to know what types of touch your physical touch person is comfortable with. Sometimes they may want that more casual graze. They may not be all in on the physical touch, but it's important to them. So maybe just a graze, a handhold every now and then, a good hug, a kiss goodbye. Little things like that are going to be important to them. But if your person is all in physical touch, then they kind of want to be touching you all the time. And it's not an invasive touch. It's not a clingy touch. It's just, okay, you're there. I'm good. Okay, I can touch you, you're good. Like it just makes them feel better. It makes them feel loved. And you have those conversations about what kind of touch they enjoy. If your partner is a physical touch person and you're giving them a massage, and maybe you're getting down in there, getting that sciatica, you know what I'm saying. You may try to take it a little far and they're going to be like, ugh, again, I just wanted a massage. Not everything is about sex, but that touch makes them feel so good that it could lead to sex. But if every time you're touching them, you're trying to get sex, and the only times you're touching them is when you're trying to get sex, it will not go well for you because it's a big, giant turnoff. They know that you're using that love language of theirs in a weaponized way. And if they are into it, maybe, again, you down there getting that sciatica, you get a little frisky and they lean into it, I bet it's on. Like, go in, do your thing, be happy about it. But if they're just like, I just want a massage, or you feel them flinch away because they know every time you do that, you do this, and then you're going to try to have sex and they're going to reject you because they're maybe not in the mood, and it becomes an issue. Notice their reaction. If they're into it, they're into it. Be as gentle or firm as they want. They're in the kitchen and they're cooking or they're putting up laundry or whatever they're doing, and you come up behind them and give them a little huggy hug and a grope because they like it when you give them a little grope. It's all it is. You grope them and you keep it moving. Now, they may be like, oh, wait, I want a little more of that. And so they may pursue that and they may go for that. But it may be just give them a little gropey grope and you go on about it. Get that kiss. And if you feel them going in for it, go in for it. But we all want to do what they enjoy. And I think that's the way it is with all of the love languages. What does your person enjoy? What makes them happy? And if you're with someone, you should know what makes them happy. You should know what they enjoy and you should want to speak that language. It gets weaponized because we're like, well, I'm speaking your language and you're not speaking mine. It's really hard to speak someone else's language, especially if it's way far out of your box. If you are not a words of affirmation person, so for me, in relationships, if I'm with someone who is a words of affirmation person, I have to be very aware to be a words of affirmation outbound person, because that's not who I am. Like, it means nothing for me to be thanked for doing something, to say, oh my God, you did such a great job with that, or I really appreciate this, or I really appreciate that. Well, it doesn't mean nothing. Sure, I appreciate it. When people say those things, like, yeah, thank you. But like, as far as making me feel loved and making that tingle happen, it just doesn't for me. But if your person is a words of affirmation person, then you need to be very mindful and thank them for the things they do. And it may seem silly that you're thanking them for doing, again, maybe something that you guys agreed that they would do. Maybe you've split up the household chores. Maybe you've split up these things. And again, they're the person that pays the bills. They take care of all of that stuff. They do all of the things. And that's just their job in the relationship. Okay. But you can still thank them for it. You can thank them for doing all the laundry. Maybe they love doing laundry. I enjoy doing laundry. I like the smell of it. I like to fold the warm clothes. I like how it looks when it's all organized. Other people may not enjoy doing their laundry. And if I was a words of affirmation person, even though I enjoy the task, I would want to be appreciated for it. I'm not doing it to be appreciated for it. But if my partner's like, oh my God, you know what? I really appreciate the fact that I don't have to mess with any of that I always got clean drawers, that I can go in here and my shirts are hung up. And that would just make me so happy to hear if that was my love language. It could be those mundane things, and it could feel really awkward for you to give those words of affirmation, to think about buying your person a gift. And if you have to set an alarm, if you have to set yourself a reminder, because now we've done our love languages, now we know what the other person operates out of, and you see that you're not operating out of that and your person's not feeling as loved as they could, set a reminder on your phone. And it doesn't mean that your partner is going to look at that and not go, oh my God, you have to set a reminder to do that. Because again, you've had conversations and now you're trying to work through it. They're going to go, thank you for setting a reminder to do that. I appreciate you wanting to speak my love language more. If you're having this good communication, then even if you're setting reminders, even if you're doing it because I told you to, I've dealt with a lot of couples in my career, and a lot of times it's, well, I don't want to do it. I had to tell them to do it. Well, why the hell not? Because they still made a choice. Even if you say, I want flowers, you never buy me flowers, or I really want to listen to the ball game, you never let me watch the football game, and you purposefully say, we're watching the game, or I brought you flowers, and it's the very next day, I hear so many people, well, they only did it because I told them to, maybe, but they also had a choice. They could have continued to not brought you flowers. They could have continued to not watch the football game with you, or UFC, or whatever it was that they don't enjoy. They had a choice, and their choice was to say, you know what, you're right. I don't buy you flowers enough. Let me buy you some flowers. And I'm thinking about it today because we talked about it last night, but I'm going to do better at it. Appreciate that they brought you flowers. Appreciate that they're watching the game, even if they're not in tune, even if they don't really care. They're doing it because it's important to you. So be sure that you're appreciating those things. There is a new theory that has come out about kind of a sixth love language, which is kind of just compassionate, I think. But Ginger Dean has developed a sixth love language that is called feeling known. It really is something that it's one of the few that you can do right away, because we can do this for everyone that we're in a relationship with, for everyone that we meet, for everyone that we want to be with. And it's really about fully accepting someone for who they are. Flaws, quirks, weirdness, awkwardness. We're not trying to change people. We've already talked about that. You can't change anybody. If you're with someone, you're with them as they are in that moment. Maybe they have some bad traits. Maybe they have some bad habits. Maybe they aren't great at relationships. Maybe they have these things that they know that they do, and maybe they've already told you about those. You accept that. If they want to be alone, okay, go have your alone time. If they want to do whatever it is, okay, you can still do that. I can accept that because we've talked about it. We've made an agreement. I understand it. You're not doing it in a way that's disrespectful to the relationship. So cool. Do what you need to do, and I accept that. So I really like this principle of, just really feeling known with someone, because if you're with someone and you're waiting for them to turn into the person that you think they can be, you're with the wrong person, because you're with that person as they are. And if they never change from this moment, if they are who they are and they are not going to change, are you okay with that? Are you still going to love them? Are you still going to be in a relationship with? Does that feel good to you? And if the answer is no, then move on. Maybe they change into that person and y'all get back together. I don't know. But if you're not okay with it, be okay with it. If I'm with you, I'm with you as you are, flaws and all. I know your situation. I know how you are. I know who you are. I know all of these things. And if I'm with you, I have made a choice to be with you as you are, because there's something about you that makes me happy. There's something in that situation that's making me happy. There's something in our relationship that just makes me happy. If I'm with you, I'm with you. If you change and grow, let's do that together. If you want to be better, I'll help you. I will do what you ask of me to help you be that better person. You should know who you are. And one of the ways is knowing your attachment styles. It is knowing your love languages. And if you don't know your love languages, you can go to the website. It's free. I'll put a link in this podcast, but also you can just search 5 love languages, or even go to 5 lovelanguages.com. You can take the quiz right there. It's free. You could add your email address. They'll email it to you. If you're in a couple, you can do it as a couple and discuss. And it kind of gives you ways to discuss your topics and discuss how to do better in someone else's language, what you can do more for them. If you don't want to go online and take a quiz, that's fine too. Just think about what we've talked about. Think about these things. Think about yourself. Think about what does bring you joy, what makes you happy, what makes you feel good when it's done for you or to you. That's your love language. It really is that simple. Like, what makes you happy? And if you're a gift receiver, because a lot of times people are like, well, my love language is gifts. I feel bad about that. Does that make me materialistic or whatever? No, it just means you like people to bring you little tokens of your appreciation. I mean, crows do it. Crows, when they find little trinkets, they bring it to their person and put it in their nest. And it shows them that they love them and they're thinking about them while they're out and about. Because again, we're not talking about someone buying you a car or a house or a Birkin bag or Louis Vuitton. I mean, it'd be nice. Like, don't get me wrong. But that's not what you're wanting as a gift receiver, if that's your love language. Just be thoughtful about what your love language is and how to explain that to someone and help them realize what that is. And once you know your partner's love language, you can start to speak that and you can start to be more respectful of it, because maybe you're operating out of your love languages. And again, y'all are on separate things. Like you don't have one love language that lines up, and you're like, but I'm doing all of this stuff. I'm doing the things. I'm telling you, I appreciate you. I'm bringing you gifts. What more do you want from me? And they're like, I want to hear you say thank you. I want you to take out the trash. I want you to give me a hug when you come home. And you're like, oh, well, I didn't even think about that. And it's because you're operating out of your own and expecting your partner to operate out of yours, which they should be. Partially, right? Because that's what this is about. It's about better communication, and it's about building that relationship and helping each other know how to love you better. But if you're getting upset because your partner's not operating out of your love language or doing things that make you feel loved and appreciated, then you have to have that conversation. We don't let resentment build, because any tool we talk about on this podcast, any tool that you learn about, can be used as a weapon. Anything can be used as a weapon in life, emotionally, physically, whatever. So if you're weaponizing your love language, you're saying, but you know that I am a physical touch person and you didn't give me one hug today. Well, did you try to hug them? Did you say, hey, I need my hug for the day because this is what fills me up? We're not going to have the expectation that they're just going to figure it out all of a sudden. We're going to help them. We're going to guide them. We all have habits. We all have these traits. And if you expect someone who is not a physical touch person to all of a sudden be a physical touch person, and you're not saying, hey, I need my hug. Hey, Don't forget, give me my kiss. Come here, hold my hand. We're walking. I need you to hold my hand. Are you comfortable with that right now? Or you just put your hand on their leg because you know they're not going to reach out, or you reach over and grab their hand and put it on your leg and you're like, I need this right now. Communicate these things. And that's what's going to keep you from traveling down some of these other avenues, which we are going to also get to. Gottman also, on the bonuses of love language, he also has come up with the 4 horsemen. Those are our criticisms, defensiveness, contempt, stonewalling. We also have these other things we talked about, the weaponized incompetence or weaponized helplessness. These behaviors are pretty big determinants of what are the downfalls of relationships and marriages and families even. So we're going to talk about some of those things coming up. For now, just think about how you feel loved and how you want to feel loved, and look at your partner too, because most of the time if you stop and look at your partner, you can figure out what their love language is. So you can kind of figure it out, but it's even better when you have those conversations. And that's what ultimately the goal is to have those good conversations and learn how to speak each other's love languages. For my producer, Jay Lindley, I'm Leslie Ross. Thank you all for joining us. Please send any questions or comments through the website, heytherapist.com, or email help@heytherapist.com. They may be featured on the show anonymously. Hey Therapist is an SEOK radio production and is for your entertainment purposes only. Thank you for joining us. Make good choices.